For this tutorial, what I'm going to do is show you how to loop a frame animation that you build inside Illustrator or Photoshop inside After Effects. The first thing that I'm going to do, I have a composition that's already been created. It's just a standard composition. I'm going to go ahead and just do File and Import and File. And I've got a background image here of my field. I'm going to go ahead and drop that into my composition. It's a pretty large photo image and my composition is only 1920 by 1080. So I'm just going to hit S to bring up the scale and we'll knock it back. I just want to be able to see see a little bit of the ground, and this is completely arbitrary. I just want to have a little bit of a background so that my character can walk through it. The next thing I'm going to do is go to File and Import and File, and then I'm going to import my character, and you can see my character has been developed inside Illustrator. I'm going to switch my import as to composition and going to go ahead and open that, and what that will do is preserve the individual layers that I've created. It's essentially a 4-layer file, and each layer has a different stage of a simple 4-element walk cycle. I'm going to go ahead and bring my character down into my composition here, and we'll reorient him so he's just right there. If I double click to open up my character as a composition, we can come in here and kind of take a look at what's going on. If I want my walk cycle to take place over the course of, say, like half a second, and again, this is going to depend on how fast you want him to walk. We'll just select everything and then go up to Edit and Split Layer, and then I'm going to hit Delete. And basically that just gets rid of everything after these individual frames here. And I just find it's a little bit easier to work with as I zoom in a bit. What we want to do is think about what pieces do we want to show at what particular time. You can see we've got our 1 second mark here, and if I have layer 1 start my composition here, and then we go to layer 2, I'm going to go ahead, and I can't see anything right now because my visibility of my layers was turned off in the Illustrator file for whatever reason, but I can just bring those in. And so if I basically will just take you through, so here's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and that's essentially my my little animation for the walk. I'm going to go ahead and bring this into fit my little work area here. And now if I want to preview it, we'll press play, and my loop for my preview is clicked in, and so you can see that it looks like my little egg fellow is kind of scurrying along there. If I want to stretch out the animation, I can certainly do that, but this is fine for me for now. If I go back into my composition and we start at the beginning, you can see that the animation starts and then it stops, because essentially the only instance of frames is right at the beginning. If we go back into that composition and come up to composition and trim comp to work area, you can see that if I go back to composition, my character is basically, the layer is only there for the amount of time that frames are on the screen. So now what I'm going to do is, with character selected, I'm going to come up to Layer and Time and enable Time Remapping. And you can see that what it does is it drops in a couple of keyframes. I'm going to zoom in to my composition, and you can see that the area that is keyframed is the start and the end. Remember the playhead's going to show you everything from that point forward. So basically this keyframe is at the end of my composition. This is the last frame of my composition. So I actually want to put a keyframe here. And I can do that by clicking on this little add keyframe button here. I'm going to come over here and double click. I'm going to set this to 0. And then I'm going to delete it. So now what we want to do is with Time Remap, if we come up to Animation and Add Expression, we have a Time Remap that pops up here, and this is going to let us add just a little piece of code that will let us loop this animation. Now, you could certainly do it by duplicating the composition again and again and again, but obviously, you know, we want a more elegant solution than that. If we come up to Property and Loop Out, and we want the type, cycle, number of keyframes 0, that's all we have to do. And so now you can see that as I play through my composition, we have the animation like he's just walking in place right now. So obviously, probably this isn't this part won't be rocket science, but for you if you're working with Time Remap and things like that now. But I'll just hit P for position. I'll hit the time vary stopwatch. I'll move my little character to the beginning here. We're gonna go ahead and fit so we can see what's happening. Have him start here. Make him a little bigger so we can see him more clearly. And then we'll go to the end of the composition, drag him across. So once you've got those 2 keyframes into place, you can just hit the space bar, and we'll get a little bit of a preview of our egg walking across this field. Not playing in real time yet, but with the second loop it will. So hopefully that helps you see a little bit about how you can use something like an expression to make your compositions with animations in them a little bit easier to deal with.